So how much can I get for a trade? Well, I don't think bananas are worth what you think they're worth. If shopping for a new car drives you bananas, head to Community Auto Group in Mason City. We have the best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. And you know with Community, you're getting a straightforward deal from a straightforward dealer. I'd like to buy this car. No? Seriously? Next time I'll skip the monkey business and go to Community Auto Group.
Making the NCAA tournament, would it have on, where you're heading with this thing?
Well, I think that's the standard that everybody looks at. Your goal is to get in, and then of course it's then to advance once you're in there. But there's just so much emphasis put now on the NCAA tournament. I mean, obviously I was fortunate to have played in it, coached in it. I recognize it's an incredible experience, but I have to admit I never thought I'd see the day where the first week of January they're talking about the last four in and the first four out, and it's incredible how senseless that is in January. But nonetheless, that's the world we live in, and it's an example of the pressure that everyone feels and everyone puts on themselves to be one of those teams that get in. So when you're one of the teams that has an opportunity and you're in the conversation, it's great. You want to be one of the ones that gets in and not one of the ones that's left out. And you want to do the things that are necessary to make that happen. And we're a team that clearly has been very close in that respect. And so when you fall short and you lose a game you had a chance to win, then it makes you feel that much worse. But the question, I think, and the challenge before this team is where do we go from here? And that's to be determined.
What was the mood, or how have the players approached the last 2 days since then?
Well, yesterday we didn't practice. It was a mandatory day off. A number of them were in working out on their own, which they do frequently. You've heard me say that, and that's a good thing. After the game, we couldn't. One of the things that happened as a result of the change of the game, we couldn't get out right after the game. We had to wait. So we went back to the hotel. We ate, and then we waited for the plane to come and get us, and then we went home. So the mood was, as you would have expected, been pretty quiet, and we broke the tape down right there. So we kept our setup to enable us to do that, and I did my TV show there, and so we got a lot of work done, and then we just got on a plane and went home, and you kind of let them, just deal with it on their own. You don't belabor it. I challenged them after the game. I wasn't happy. And the interesting thing was, and this happens a lot, and this is why I try to temper what I say after the game, even if I'm upset. My perception of what happened in the game was a lot different after I watched the game than it was when the game ended. I mean, we could see that we shot. You could look at the stats and see we shot 28%, and they shot 62%, and that's not a good formula to hold on to a lead. And I was upset with what I thought was tentative play offensively, and we were. I mean, we were tentative. Collectively, it wasn't one or two guys. We were more tentative than we should have been. But the reason we had so much pressure on us offensively was because our defense was so bad. I mean, that's as bad as, that was like one of our performances last year when we were just non-existent at the defensive end of the floor. And I think that's the disappointing thing. You're going to have games where you don't shoot it well. We've had a ton of games where we haven't shot it well. We really hung in. It was lucky we had a 16-point lead, but the way we were playing defense in the second half, guys were just going by us and throwing it into post, turning and scoring. We just were not as effective as we have been, and that's clearly been one of our strengths. I don't think there's any question about that. So that was, one of the things that we need to address today as we break the film down and show. We've already broken it down, but showing it to them, they haven't seen it yet, and they'll see that it was actually as much our defense as it was our lack of offense.
What were some of the other observations you were able to make that maybe you didn't?
The situation. Where do we go from here? Is that a concern of yours going into this next ball game, first of all, and second of all, how will you deal with that with your players?
It's never a concern. it's just my job. I'm not concerned about it. I mean, it's you take where you are at any given point in time, and you coach them up, and you figure out what do we have to do to get ready to play Purdue, and what do we have to do to get ready to play Indiana, and you go to the next game, and who's playing well, who's struggling, who needs a pat on the back, and who needs a kick in the tail, and you show them the clips, and you make teaching points, and you get shots up because we're struggling shooting the ball, and that's what you do. You just try to prepare them to the best of our abilities to play the best that they can possibly play Wednesday night against Purdue. No more, no less.
Sorry. How has Purdue evolved since over the last month?
I don't, it's interesting. I think, we tend to get carried away sometimes with winning streaks and losing streaks, and it's purely a function of who you're playing. They may have had a game or two where they weren't expecting a defeat or something along those lines, but, they lost at Northwestern. A lot of teams lose at Northwestern, and Indiana beat them twice. Well, they're pretty much beating everybody. So I don't think that's any reason to look at Purdue any differently. I think you look at them, the way I do is, number one, they're going to guard you. Number two, they're going to rebound. And, they, I think, pride themselves on being the tougher team anytime they take the floor. Doesn't mean they're going to win them all, but they're going to compete in a way that's going to challenge our team and any team that plays them. And that's a credit to their players and their coaching staff. I think Matt has, made sure that that's that team's identity. So we have to make sure that we're able to compete at that level and play a little bit better than we have been playing, in particular at the offensive end of the floor.
Do you think people need to be more patient with Adam?
As far as working on putting this game behind you and looking ahead?
Well, a lot of us came in yesterday. It was our day off from practice. A lot of us came in and got shots up, got workouts in. I met with a few of the coaches, watched clips and stuff on just ways I can improve myself individually. But I think we're doing pretty good. We just got to keep a mental focus and look at the next challenge that's ahead of us. Can't really look back in the past like I always do.
Do you get caught up in any of the NCAA talk, or no?
Not really. I mean, I don't know nothing. I know nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything about it, so I don't know. All I can do is just continue to try and keep getting wins, and hopefully we are in a position. But like I said, I have no prior knowledge to NCAA tournaments. So my lack of knowledge, you could say, is good and bad. In a good way, because I don't really know what it takes. So I can just keep going. I ain't worried about it. The team isn't really worried about it. We just want to keep getting wins. But like I said, we're not really worried about it. We just gotta keep playing. So
every time you see Purdue,
right now heading into Wednesday's game? Feel pretty good. I mean, we got a big game coming up, and I think we're gonna be ready for it, and just try to prepare well these next couple of days and go get a win.
Hammond's present a different kind of challenge for you because he's got size and bulk.
Everybody in this league has size and bulk. So, I mean, it's no different than what I've been facing every night out. So it's just another task at hand, and I go compete.
Where's your confidence at this point, Adam?
It's pretty high. I mean, I don't see many things that could waver it too much right now. I mean, obviously we lost a game we probably shouldn't have, but I mean, that happens throughout the season, and we just need to bounce back from it and continue to be strong.
You're averaging 5 rebounds in about 16 minutes of play. Is that something you got to be pretty proud of that so far? Is that
Mike, the last 48 hours or since you've gotten back from Lincoln, Nebraska, how do you feel you and your teammates have been able to just try to deal with what took place this past weekend in terms of trying to move forward?
I mean, we have to put it behind us, so we got no other choice, Just a few games left this season. We got to really stay positive, just keep working hard. It's an unfortunate loss, but, we got to just put that behind us and keep working because, we still have great things yet to come this season.
Did you notice any sort of hangover effect or just like maybe